Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Multidimensional Human Podcast. I'm your host, Rachel Archelaus, and my hair is long enough to put in a tiny little ponytail that is off-centered. So I hope you enjoy. Today we're going to catch up a bit. I just graduated from a master's program for developmental psychology. It was pretty grueling at the end there, so I've been a little silent, but I'm back at it, raring to go. I'm very excited to have my schedule open up, and I just figured I would talk about what it's like to choose to do something that no one really understands and is a really big time and money commitment. How it went for me, how I feel about it now. Do I feel like spending $25,000 was a good investment? Do I feel like I got what I wanted out of it? Was it worth all of the time and giving away my Sundays to homework, amongst many other hours during the week? And do I plan to use my degree to do anything, or am I just going to go back to hiking and gardening and writing and making content? And also, I'm always wanting to help you reflect on whether or not to take a big leap in your own life. And while my experience won't directly translate into your life, so if I'm really happy with what I did, that doesn't necessarily mean you'll be really happy with your decision. I do think that we're drawn to certain people for certain reasons. And I know that I get a lot of inspiration from the content creators that I watch. Like right now, I'm watching a lot of ultra running. And for years, I've been really excited about watching people run 30 to 250 miles. And while I haven't run an ultra marathon yet, I plan to next year. Obviously, your mileage may vary, which is very apt for what I'm talking about. But I think it's okay to learn from other people and to get inspiration and to get some confidence from someone else's journey. So, without further ado, I will talk about my journey. I attended Southern New Hampshire University. I did it online, though they do have a campus. I honestly had a 90% great time with the faculty and my advisor and the schoolwork and everything that was asked of me. I felt like it was mostly great. I had two professors who we just had like a communication breakdown, and it required a lot of back and forth to understand each other. And because I am a high performing person, I'm not ever gonna phone it in. I decided to take the time out to, smooth out the whatever was wrong and get on the same page with these professors. Because even though I could have passed the class or, gotten a good grade, I really felt it was important to be judged at the level that I was intending to put out, So anyway, to make a long story short, which is very funny because I'm wearing a wonderful Radiohead shirt. I graduated with a 4.0, which I wasn't even necessarily, it wasn't like I have to do it. I'm not a perfectionist, but I'm really glad at how everything went. It was difficult at times. I had very demanding professors at times. I had very lax professors at times. There were classes I thought I was gonna fail, and there were classes that required a paper every single week, and there were classes that you had to do tests and quizzes for. So it was really varied. I had to take lots and lots, obviously, of psychology classes, but I had to take research methods many times and statistics classes. There was math, right? So I can write a paper in my sleep, but I can't do statistics in my sleep. And so those were really challenging, like hours and hours of homework and figuring things out. And, I took advantage of the tutors that were at my school and the writing lab. And I used the resources that were provided for me, which was a fabulous thing. And my advisor helped me a ton. He was fantastic, fantastic. I just knew I had someone in my corner that I could talk to if I needed anything. And I did need things at various times. My experience at SNHU was wonderful, but I also gained so much knowledge. You know, before I decided to do this, a couple people were like, why don't you just learn this on your own? Like, what are you going to learn there that you can't learn on your own? And to be honest, having a curriculum to walk into is incredible. That is so much work. That is so much time and effort taken out of your journey. So even if you are an autodidact like I am, I love learning. I read nonfiction books all the time. I'm not ever going to devote that amount of time that I did to this degree to learning this stuff on my own, especially the stuff I don't want to learn. And like, you know, I love working out. And our trainers are always saying, like, the thing you don't want to do is the thing you most need to do. I would never have taught myself statistics on my own. I never would have really gone into quantitative research methods. Like, there are so many things I was averse to before going into this program that now I'm like, oh God, I'm so glad I know that. Or I want to use that going forward. I don't just want to be a qualitative researcher, you know? I mean, obviously, education opens up your mind. It helps you expand and grow. And that's exactly what I feel like I got. I got an expansion of my worldview, of myself, of my knowledge, of my helpfulness, of my empathy. In my final reflection paper, which is what one of the parts of our capstone project that we had to do, that's really what I talked about. It was like, there isn't, like, science doesn't exist without empathy, because the reason we're testing things is so we can be more kind, so we can be more inclusive, so we can be more adaptive to people's needs and the environment's needs, right? To know what's really going on is to know how to care for people. That is beautiful. That's beautiful. And I didn't really look at science like that beforehand. You know, like, I have an intuitive art method that I discovered that I've been using and teaching for over 20 years. And my director and I, my friend Laura Gadati, who is still available to teach certifications, we've been talking about bringing intuitive art into the mental health space for a while. I always thought, like, of course we can. It would go great there, but I really wanted to do more research to know how. Like, how is the best way to introduce this? Because what I know now is that there are a lot of needs that we can accommodate for within intuitive art. Like, how we teach intuitive art to a therapy patient, let's say they're on the neurodivergent spectrum, like, that's going to be different to how we teach it to an artist who just wants to know what their colors mean. And I think it's really important to know that. I think it's important to know who you're teaching and how you can best serve them. And that is definitely something that I think about more now that I went through this program. So it helped all of my life. It helped me and my confidence and my knowledge base and my ability to care for people and to empathize with people. And it helped my other work, my creative work, my intuitive art work. And also, like, it gave me credentials to teach psychology. And usually you want to have a PhD or a PsyD to teach college, but there are colleges that will accept master's degree holders, and I'm going to apply to them. So I just want a part-time teaching gig, maybe 1 or 2 classes online. But having been through several online classes, or like online schools now, I do know that teachers really do matter. Like, who is your teacher? You know, they can inspire you, they can challenge you in the best ways, and I think that would be really rewarding as a part-time thing. So yeah, I'm really, really, really glad I did it. And it's funny because the program was a year and a half, a little bit over a year and a half, like a year and 7 months. Before you do something that's a year and a half commitment, you think that's a really long time. Like, I was like, oh dang, that's a long time. And now that I've done it, I'm like, what? It was like like a step, like a day. Like how that doesn't even compute as a long time. Maybe because I'm 43, I've like been in, a decade and a half long relationship. I've got other long-term things under my belt, but that program did not feel that long. I didn't get burnt out, which is great. I was worried about that, to be honest. I never lost interest. We had 1 week breaks between sessions. We had 10-week sessions and then a 1 week break, and then a 10-week session and a 1 week break. And by the second day of the break, I was like, I'm ready to go back. So that was fantastic. If you're considering doing something like this, I thought about it for, I looked into programs for probably 2 years before I found this one and committed to it. I just say, go for it. If you know you want to do something, you want to make a commitment to yourself, invest in yourself, and you're confident about it yourself. It's just that other people are doubting you. Do it. It's worth it. I loved it. And now I have a master's degree and I have all of this knowledge that helps every other thing in my life. I would say the downsides of being in that program, it just took a lot of my attention, and as a person who's already I default into a very serious mode, it did make me a little bit more serious. Like I had a lot of work to do. I had a lot of things to learn. I had to grow my mind. That definitely showed. Like my partner yesterday told me, he's like, you're so much happier now that you're not in school. And I feel like true, but like if you were on vacation from work, you would be happier too. Like I've had a lot of work to do, especially in these last few weeks. That was very nerve-wracking. There's that, but I knew what I was getting into and I knew that would happen. I'm okay with that. I don't think there was any real sacrifice that I made that wasn't worth it, which is so good to know, which also goes back to my own confidence, not just in my knowledge, but like I can trust myself. I knew I wanted to do it. I knew it would be worth it for me, and it was, and I'm thrilled that I did it. Speaking of, there's always that like post-accomplishment low for me, if you know what I mean. I'm a process person. I'm in it for the in it. I'm in it for the training. I'm in it for the homework. I'm in it for the whatever is like the journey. The night of my graduation, I was like, oh, what now? Like, what do I do next? And I already knew I wanted to do more writing, which is true. But I was like, I spent a lot of time thinking about school, doing school, showing up to school, etc., talking about it, thinking about after. And I have like even that mental space back now. So what do I want to do? I could kind of say like I spent $25,000 to learn this thing. I just want to be happy, right? Like, duh. It's my year of fun. Time to have more fun. Time to do the things I didn't have time to do before, like going hiking more, being silly, making more art, listening to more music. That is what I'm going to do now. Because I like being serious, and I will always be a serious person. I just will. That's just who I am. Maybe it's because I'm autistic. Maybe it's the New Englander in me. There's so many reasons it could be. The Zeta part of me is very serious. I really do enjoy being relaxed and having fun and being outside. And I think I'm on like an athlete journey right now. Like not like professional. I don't want to like try out for anything, but I've been working out now in several domains consistently all year. Like I've been weightlifting at a regular gym. I've been doing my other like blended fitness at Orange Theory. And I just started running again on a structured plan because I'm doing a 10K in October. And next year, because I've been following ultra running for so long, I really just want to commit to trying it. I want to do a 50K next year. So this year I signed up to volunteer for that race just so I could like be around those people and like know people who do 50Ks in the mountains. So that is what I'd love to do. I have done 20 miles in the mountains. By the way, a 50K is about 30 miles. I've done a 20-mile day. And so if I incorporate some running in there, because that was a hike, if I incorporate some running, I could easily see myself being able to do 30 miles in one day. And no, I'm not going to win, but I just want to be out there. I just want to do it. I just want to have that experience. And the training for it is really the part that I'm excited about. Like having an excuse, not that I need one, but having a structured, training plan to be in the mountains, to run, to hike, like that sounds incredible. I mean, it sounds wild that I could even have that kind of life. And so that's what I want to do. So I have that on the horizon. I have, again, writing. I want to try writing different kinds of things. Like I have a young adult novel in mind. I have an experimental novel. I have all kinds of things, screenplays. I have 2 writing buddies now, which is exciting. And I don't think there's anything that like I should cross off my list that brings a smile to my face. Like this year is showing us that we really do have freedom because we're seeing people's freedom taken away. We're seeing people be disappeared and kidnapped and deported and wild, diabolical, disgusting things happening in the government. And I could focus more on that, or I could focus on like living my motherfucking life to the fullest and contributing in the ways that I can, but focusing more on solutions and fun and living than on the bad, because there's people who are doing that. There's people who work there who are doing that. I think my contribution is better made living life, and I've got an auto donation, right? Like every single month there's money pulled out of my account for the good fight. Like I'm, showing up in other ways, and I think that's like the best I can do. I'm not going to move to DC and like, camp outside the White House or whatever. And so that's what I've decided to do. And maybe it will inspire you to have more fun and to live your life the way you really want to live it while you have time, while you're here. And that will maybe cause a ripple effect, and we can feel the privilege that we have and then know that our standards are that. I think that's a really big part of what's happening right now, is that people don't realize how good they have it, and they've been brainwashed into thinking that life is terrible and the country is terrible and the economy was terrible. And you know what? That's starting to happen. So law of attraction, hello. I would like law of attraction to work in my favor, not against me. And so that's how I got to proceed. Also, the things that I want now are the things that I wanted years ago. I think a lot of us either feel like we change so much and we're so flighty and we're so, you can't nail us down. We're always changing our minds about things, which probably isn't true. Or that like we tried something once and we didn't work out, so we can't do it again. I feel like we're so mean to ourselves. But if you really look at it, a lot of people fail at doing things before they succeed, and that's just part of life. I don't know where we got this idea that we need to try something once and be the best at it, or else it didn't work and we're done, we can't do it again. That's not true. And also I feel like we know who we are. We are people who love blah, 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 blah. Like, tell me who you are. Tell me in the comments. What do you like? I read a book, an exceptional book, which you should read too, called Work Optional many years ago. And it's basically about like how to use your money to save for retirement and how to make that work for you as early as you want it to work. And what it does is basically helps you define your values. What would be a fulfilling life for you, so that you could focus on that while saving from the other stuff. So it's like help, what do you like? What's worth spending your money on? What are you not really that into? How can you save money on that? And there's a lot more to it, obviously, but these are my notes that I went through. I was like, I wonder what I wrote down for that. It was at least 4 years ago. And so the themes that I have extricated from those notes down here are, what do I love? Adventure / outdoors. Yes, still love that. And creative expression. Yes, 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 yes. So what did I just tell you that I want to do earlier, right? Be outside more and make more content, write, make art. So I am the same person that I was years ago, and I'm the same person that I was decades ago as a child. And I can practice those themes in so many ways and see that as a through line instead of as like a choppy stop start or failure kind of thing. You know, because I've done lots of things that haven't worked out. Who cares? That's life. Like, whatever. So give yourself permission to start doing the things that you love again, even if you thought it wasn't for you, even if you thought you failed, even if, you put it down, or if you pick something back up, someone's going to think something weird about you. Who the hell cares? This is your life. You get to do what you want to do. I can't believe I've been talking for over 20 minutes, but I guess we had a lot to catch up on. What's next for you? What are you restarting? What are you into? How are you going to spend your summer? If I've given you any inspiration to bring something back around again, then let me know. I will talk to you very, very soon, my friends. Lots and lots of love, and, stay multidimensional. All right, bye for now.